believe in either an ATV trail or whatever. It's been blocked off. Again, I'm probably about 1.5 miles in from where my vehicle is parked. I hiked in here, but I gotta tell you, this place gives me the freaking creeps. And there's only been 2 places that I have felt legitimately that they're in while I'm in the area. And the first place is going to be the Uintas, and the second place is going to be right here. And I don't know what it is. It's a different feeling than what I get up in the Uintas, but nonetheless, this feeling here that I have is pretty creepy and sketch. For all I know, it's a mountain lion. But I do know that as far as I'm aware, I'm the only one up in this area. And I'll tell you what, my head is on a swivel because I am looking for any movement, anything. And I've seen squirrels and running up and down trees, but I tell you what, this is just awesome. As creepy as I feel right now with the vibe, it's awesome. And I keep looking back. I keep telling people that when you're out and about, keep looking back every now and then. There's been reports of these things that standing on the roadway as you've passed, looking at you, and once you turn your head, they jump back in the tree lines. But yeah, this is the feeling that I get here is, I don't know, it's almost like it's sinister. And maybe that's just me playing into the emotion of it all, but you know, there's different tactics that people use. And quite certainly I've picked up on quite a few of those tactics, but some of the tactics are just going in and being as quiet as you possibly can be, versus other times going in there and making a ruckus and hopefully spiking the interest of one of these things to draw them in. You can do that with tree knocks. You can do that with yelps, whoops. You can do that with rocks, rock to rock, imitation of an owl. I mean, just coyotes, things of that nature, because these things have been known to imitate wildlife. But when you talk to people, they clearly can tell that there's just something not right when they do that. Anyways, I've done some yelps, I've done some tree knocks, but I gotta tell you, I just feel like I'm being watched from a distance or from afar. And I don't mind it. It's just kind of creepy. And of course I hear the trees swaying up high, tree breaks. But what I'm really looking for is either a good tree knock, a yelp, a holler, a whoop, something like that. That's what I'm looking for. Hope everyone had a good Thanksgiving too. I saw a poll on YouTube the other night. It says the poll was about Thanksgiving, and most people, the highest percentage was just can't stand it. Fortunately, we have a good family and all the shebang, so we all get along. No problems there. But hope everyone had a good one. rest assured we'll be having it again this time next year. But on to squatching. Like I say, this is just so cool up here. So cool. And the fact that you're out here by yourself, that's the best part about it. You know, and I'll be the first to admit, damn, that was a loud break. Stuff like that just, I don't know if it's the wind or squirrel or what. Or something heavy walking and breaking something on the ground. I will say this though. If anyone doesn't encounter right through here, man, it's a long walk back. But anybody who knows me knows that I will take any encounter that's thrown at me. I'll take one that's curious. I'll take one that's pissed off and wants to cause hell. I'll take one that throws something at me or in my direction. A bluff charge. A curious one. You know, what's funny is the one that creeps me out the most are the ones that you hear about are peeking behind trees, looking at you in curiosity. That's the one that actually freaks me out the most. I just assume have a bluff charge. Have all hell break loose. I would come right up close and personal. Do a yell or a scream. Let me look at it. Lose all my bodily functions. Cry like a little girl maybe. Plead for my life, whatever. Whatever it takes. Man. It's so quiet out here. No birds. I hear them every now and then, but I'm not hearing nothing but wind. And again, this has been closed for over a year now. So I'm not seeing footprints from humans on this roadway, so that's indicative that there hasn't been anybody up in this area. I see some tire marks, but I think that's from the Forest Service people coming up here and checking on things every now and then. But there's nothing going on today. Just me up here and whatever else. Okay, hopefully I'm looking in the right spot here. Just got done wrapping up our expedition out here in the giant Sequoia National Park. Well, forest, not park. And it was cool. It was very cool up here. It was quiet. Had some very, I don't know, just the feelings up here are just really different than anywhere I've really been, even up in the Uintas. Didn't see anything, didn't hear anything. I tried my hardest with the tree knocks and the yelps and the whoops and what have you, but nothing. So does that mean that it was a bad time up here? Heck no. Any time up here is a great time, and I'm just grateful and happy that I had the opportunity to be up here today and see this beautiful country up here. And even though they had the fires come through here in 2020, it's still beautiful up here. It's still magnificent. There's still a lot of scenery up here, a lot of animal life, and you can't go wrong with that. And even though it's unfortunate that the fires did come through here, this place will replenish itself. That's just how nature is. I'm not sure if this was a man-made fire with how it started, or if it was Mother Nature, but nonetheless, that's just Mother Nature. Things are intended to burn, and the old out and the new in, and so is life. But that's kind of the takeaway, I think. And in today's exposition is that, we're not intended to be here forever. And nor is the trees and the shrubbery and so on and so forth, and you have to have that cleansing and get it out of here and bring in the new. But all in all, it was great. It was warm earlier, and now it's cooled down. It's getting chilly up here. The sun's starting to set down here, and it's about 4:30 when it starts, when the sun is set, and it gets, especially up here, it gets super cold. So I started to work my way back. I'm halfway back to the vehicle, so hiked well up in there. I'm not even sure how many miles I went, but it felt good, had a great time. And I was the only one up there as far as I'm aware. And so if there was anybody else up in here or what have you, they're going to be wondering what the heck is going on in the forest, because I was yelling and hollering and doing some tree knocks and what have you. So, it's one of those things that you look at how vast this place is and how big and immense it is. It truly is. It's just the luck of the draw. I mean, that's what I'm coming to realize, that one, I know that these things are out here, and nobody can tell me otherwise. It doesn't matter what other people think, just as, for them, it doesn't really matter what I think, I guess. But we all have our own belief systems. We all have our own reasonings as to why we believe in certain things. And in this one, I've talked to so many people who have had experiences, whether they're vocalizations or actually seeing these things. They're very private about it. And there's a reason for it, because when they tell people, the typical reaction is that they just, get that scoffing laugh at them, or you're crazy or what have you. And, what's the definition of crazy? What's the definition of normal? And just because, people have different experiences in life doesn't mean that somebody who hasn't had those experiences in life, that it doesn't mean that it's not true. And that's in all aspects of life, and I can't tell you how many people, still today, they know me as the guy that goes out there and looks for Sasquatch and what have you, and they feel like, I'm just wasting my time, and it's, this and that and blah, blah, blah. But you know what? These are the same types of people, and the same folks, that really never step foot in the forest themselves, and there's misconceptions, of this and there's that and so on and so forth, but to each their own. It carries over into different, fields and different, different things. And, the bottom line is, at the end of the day, is I don't know what these things are, but I can't dismiss all the credible people that I associate with and know personally, their experiences, their kids' experiences, their wife's experiences. It goes from clergy to professionals to, career professionals and so on and so forth, all types of people who are having these experiences. And, it's hard to dismiss that. And, these people, when they tell their stories, they're telling it with intent and real raw emotion, and which is deeply disturbing for them, because it's something that they have to live with. Now, with my experiences, I've had some vocalizations and some other things, such as footprints and so on and so forth, that we've been able to, fortunately, get on camera. But, even at that, it's, when you're out in the outback and off the grid and you're hearing and seeing these things, what's to be said about that? I don't know. There's a lot of unanswered questions in regards to this subject, and I'm not proclaiming to know the answers to them. All I know is that there's people who have seen something, and that something is or hasn't been identified by the mass majority. And a lot of people don't want to come forward too because of ridicule and being scoffed at and so on and so forth. And so even though we have countless stories and of incidences that have occurred in different regions and areas and countries and so on and so forth, I always sit back and think to myself, imagine all the people who haven't come forward to tell their experiences. And so there's a lot of them. And, as I was walking out, I kind of want to leave a good presence, from being in where I've been. And so I try to make an effort to play some Native American music, and the flutes and so on and so forth, from the Native American. It's unbelievable. It brings a peace, and it really connects to the forest and so on and so forth. And yeah, that's not necessarily my belief system, but it does bring, peace and a sense of just calm over me and everything around me. It's just an overall good feeling. My background is, I am Mayan Indian. And so, you go back to those roots and you think, of the traditions and not only of my people back, in Central America with the Mayan Indians, but with, the Native Americans here, and them having lived here well before white men ever came here and so on and so forth, and the experiences and the folklore and the stories and so on and so forth that have been passed down from generation to generation. And, these things seem to be a part of it. And not just here, but, other native tribes in different countries. And this is well before, they even knew the existence of one another. And so it's just, it's almost like it comes around full circle in that, even though we know these things are out here, or I know that these things are out here, there's a great deal of respect, for not only the land, but, for everything, that's inhabiting this, the forests and the canyons and so on and so forth. And, this isn't, once a year or 2 or 3 times a year, venture out into the forest, that we're doing. We're out here every week in some form or fashion, doing hikes and so on and so forth, and really getting off the grid and so forth. And, that's what it takes, it's what it takes, for me, someone who's seeking, to find out what these things are, in a sense of just, being able to have that visible, one-to-one, eye-to-eye contact to solidify in my mind and in my head that, hey, this is what it is. And, even though it's there physically, I will never know really truly the answers for it. But, we all have our own destinies. We all have our own interests. Mine just is wanting to be out here in the forest and connect and, get away from everything that the world is right now. And, you can't, it's the best thing I can do. Take care of your family, take care of yourself, mentally, emotionally, physically, and enjoy what, God has put here on this earth. Because there's so much beauty and so much serenity to be had. You just got to look in the right places and seek those things out that you truly want to find out.